Good morning, welcome to Morning Review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Monday the 15th of June. Okay, so looking at the euro dollar first, and well, it's quite a choppy old position here. There's quite a gap from the open in the Sunday session. This is all sitting around Greece. Now, I'm amazed the gap is so small, bearing in mind that the Greek talks lasted about 45 minutes apparently before they fell apart again. And I'm just reading German CDU Parliament leader will not back any agreement on Greece, which does not include the IMF. The IMF are taking a very strict stance, so it looks like there may be yet a default. Anyway, so with that in mind, the amount of movement that's actually come off is pretty minimal. So let's look. So from a daily perspective, well, we were sort of sliding down, but it managed to put the sort of spinning top in on Friday. It's obviously gapped down and closed below that at the moment. Oh, closed below that. It is below that at the moment. We have got the gap, which could be filled. Looking for a 60-minute point of view, it's sort of heading up at the moment. If we do see the break of this trend line, well, that gap will, or the daily pivot may be hit and the gap filled. So certainly a possibility. To me, it almost looks like Europe is sort of semi-resigned to Greek defaulting now, and the way the euro's moved there, because that's barely any significant movement. Bear in mind the breakdown in talks there. Anyway, that's the euro. Let's have a look at cable. In terms of euro's potential today, if we do see a break of the recent lows, I would be looking for the downside, particularly Friday's lows, as a probable target. In the meantime, as it's pushing up here, well, the daily pivot seems not that far away, and maybe we will see a gap fill. I don't really like the long side that much at the moment. Looking at the pound dollar, well, having a bit of a shove up this morning at the moment. It was the more bullish one on Friday, ended up more bullish. It's just a bit of consolidation at where we are at the moment. Weekly pivot's below us, so there's a possibility of pulling back for that. Actually, I didn't notice where the European pivot was. Oh, it's just above us as well, so okay, that's possibly why it's quite a draw for both currencies there at the moment. Well, for the euro. For the pound, it is below us, but at the moment, price is pushing up. It's breaking this sort of upper trend here. If it sort of manages to push on up, there'll be a point where I'll be looking for the long side up towards Friday's highs and maybe even the daily R1 there. At the moment though, it's just it's trying to break that trend line, not fully broken. There may be a bit more of an aggressive trade I'll look at, but for now, as I say, it's aiming sort of in the right direction, but we've got the weekly pivot below us, which you should be aware of. Dollar yen, chop, he says. It's from a 4-hourly perspective, it's quite choppy here still. Sorry, just remove that. It's its weekly pivot's above us, as you can see here from the daily as well. It's just sort of consolidated. Yeah, we've had two inside bars, and today, well, it's so far inside. It's very difficult to work out which way this is running. You could be dropping the old trend lines on and suggesting a break of one way or t'other may see a bigger move. Weekly pivots above us, so any selling of the yen could see it rally. You can see how tight the pivots are pinched here, so it's just it's whichever way it breaks this morning, I think, is what we've got to look for there. Almost. I shan't be trading it though. Looking at the Aussie dollar, and funny old price bars here. We've a negative bar, and it must have gapped open by the looks of it. Can't see the gap on the 4-hourlies, but bearishy looking sort of Friday finish, but and it's already hit the weekly pivot negatively. I was erring towards the bearish side when I was putting the trend line on here and looking for possibly breaks of these lows here and break of this trend for a target back towards Friday's lows. the upside? Well, there is a possible upside, but it's very, very choppy. Actually, it did gap up late last night when it opened the Asian session. It did manage to actually a bit of a gap and then sold off almost straight away. Well, the gap's been filled in that case. Okay, Erring. I mean, this is quite neutral again, and the pivots are getting a bit more pinched. I just need to watch how this goes this morning. It's too choppy to really work out and give guidance in terms of trend, because there is no trend. I mean, we've sat here in the big phase over here. We had one sort of range, and now we're sitting in this other range here. So it's range bound. There possibly are some opportunities there, but not for me right now. Okay, that's that. News-wise today, we've got on the 15th, we've got manufacturing sales in Canada. There was very little out this morning. We've got German mover speaking. So we've got the Deutsche Bundesbank president speaking this morning. Now, we can get a bit of volatility when he's talking. No doubt Greece will become in conversation, so may get some volatility around 8 o'clock on the euro. Aside of that, really, we're looking nothing really. We've got Draghi speaking at 2 o'clock this afternoon, due to testify before the European Parliament in Brussels. Now, I would imagine most things he's said or going to be saying has already been said, but still could create some volatility, and more so particularly as there doesn't seem to be a resolution on the Greek situation. So again, 2 o'clock could create quite a bit of volatility. So CAD manufacturing sales at 130, maybe if you're looking at the Canadian dollar, a bit of volatility there, but not a lot else kicking out there. Saying that 215, there's a bit of US data. It's lower grade data, but we're seeing a little bit more volatility. Okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now.